Hi, welcome to Voice Venture. Today we'll be taking a look at several documentaries from the Illinois Media School where students were challenged to observe topics that they find important to today's culture. Our very own Angel Barrios caught up with our student directors for the inside scoop on the things that drove these projects individually. Here he is now with our first story.
This is Angel Barrios. I'm here with Jonny, Pina, the director of Simply Destinee documentary, and I'm gonna make some questions to him. So why you decided to make a documentary about Simply Destinee?
We chose Simply Destinee because personally I used to be a member of Simply Destinee, and they pretty much promote suicide awareness, and it started because of suicide, which is a topic that's very not too many people touch it, and I think we need to shine the light on that topic and get more people educated. And this dance team is non-for-profit, so it's really good for the public and the kids and everything, and it offers a lot of different services, so I think that this could really help them as an organization to spread out their message.
So I can guess that you have a really fun time doing this documentary, right?
Yeah, super fun, because I like I said, I used to be there. I was there for about 3 years, and I worked my way up to being choreographer and mentor there. So I choreographed a couple events, some expos, and just going back and seeing the kids and recording them, and they're just like, "Oh, Johnny, and why are you recording everything?" And it's just really cool because I get to take all the gear, all the lights, all the cameras, and they just think it's really cool.
Yeah, that's enough for me. So let's take a look at it.
Simply Destinee is a dance team created in memory of Destinee Oliva, who was a victim of suicide. Today, the dance team promotes suicide awareness and prevention, offering community service as well as dance classes. It helps to keep the youth in a safe place and to educate the community about the issues that we face today. Our plan is to retell the story of how this dance team was started and to portray the story behind Simply Destinee and why it is so meaningful to so many.
My name is Liza Oliva, and I am one of the co-founders of Simply Destinee. Simply Destinee was started shortly after 2010 when I lost my youngest daughter to suicide. We are a not-for-profit, youth-centered / dance team that promotes suicide awareness and prevention in her memory. We are located in Aurora, Illinois at 131 West Illinois, and we currently have over 100 kids in our program.
But aside from that, we've also grown into an after-school program with District 131, to where we reach about 850 kids on a weekly basis. Like I said, it's taken me so much further than I ever thought. My niece will never know how much she changed my life. It was just a dream that I thought that I could do, and we gave up a lot to do it, but it was all worth it.
So Destinee loved to sing. She would literally get on any stage anywhere and belt out a performance, and she had no fear. Like, I can recall one time where she performed at a local fest, and when she showed me her song selection, I was like, "That's Christina Aguilera, are you sure you can pull that off?" And she said, "I'm gonna do it," and she did. She got up there, and that's one of the videos that I have saved of her singing Christina Aguilera. And she loved to dance, she loved to sing. She tried out for America's Got Talent. She was gonna try out for American Idol. She told me that I would always see her name in lights. And she had all these dreams and ambitions. She had plans to go to California. She just really wanted to explore and experience life, and that's who she was. She was the most loving, giving, happy kid you could ever meet, and when she passed away, a lot of people told me that they couldn't believe that this was happening, because one kid told me that you could be having the worst day ever and she would go up to you and give you a hug, and you would just feel like everything was going to be okay. Like, that's the type of person that she was, and I never saw the signs that with everything that was going on. She had just been diagnosed with epilepsy, but she literally had so many plans. Like, she was 10 days away from getting her license. She wanted to go on American Idol. She would always tell me that she was I would see her name in lights one day. but I never thought that it would be like this.
Growing up with Destinee when she was born, I would help my sister out, watch the kids, babysit them during the summer. So growing up with them, I think that I was close. As she got older, music kept us in touch, kept our family parties interesting. But when I think about it, I don't feel that I was as close as I could have been. I think there are those shoulda, coulda, wouldas that everybody goes through. Phone calls that maybe I didn't answer. And I think about what I missed out on, what we would have talked about. But we loved music and dance, and she could count on me whenever there was a musical at school or a play or a choir concert. She'd call me and say, I'm doing this, and most of the time it'd be last minute. And I'd be like, really, Destinee, you couldn't give me a heads up? I'm sorry, I forgot. But I'd be there.
Well, Destinee had epilepsy, and we knew it for quite some time. But the first time that we took her into the doctor, they told us that they couldn't find anything wrong with her. They performed what was called an EKG, and they said there were very minimal signs of seizures. So they gave her some medication and sent her on her way. But at the time, I never gave her the medication because I always felt like if they didn't find anything, why was I going to give her medication? So 2 years passed, and the seizures started to get worse. She could literally have a seizure and knock everything off the table and not even be aware of what was going on. So 2 years forward, I take her to a specialist in Chicago, and they put her in the hospital for a few days. They videotaped her. They came back literally the next day, and the doctor said, these are seizures that she's having. So they sent us home with a bottle of pills, and they said, just take this medication every week until the next time you see me, and things will get better. So we went home that day. She was on the medication for 6 weeks, and every week for 6 weeks I called the doctor and kept telling them something was wrong with her. They just kept telling me that she needed to build her tolerance and that she'd be fine. And a week before she died, I took her to her pediatrician. Her pediatrician told me that all of the side effects she was having were from the medication. So I called the neurologist right away and told them everything that the pediatrician had told me. Later that day, they finally called me back, and I told them she's like the walking dead. So they told me not to increase the dosage anymore, but I couldn't take her off the meds because she'd go through withdrawal. And then 5 days later, she was gone.
The morning I woke up, she was getting a phone call from my sister telling me that Destinee was gone. I was half asleep.
I woke up one morning, and I could hear her phone going off, and I could hear her alarm going off, and I never realized why she wasn't answering. So I went to the door, and I kept knocking and knocking, and the rule in my house was not to have the doors locked. So I kept banging because the door wouldn't open. And then eventually what happened was we were able to get the door open. Once we got the door open, my son's father said, don't go in there, call 911. So my first reaction as a parent was, what's wrong? I opened the door and her bed was made. My first reaction was that she had run away. I went to turn around to walk out of her room, and I found her in the closet, and she had already been gone for some time.
I remember picking up the phone and thinking, why is she calling me so early? She knows I don't get up this early. And I answer, and she's just screaming and crying that Destinee's gone. What do you mean she's gone? Where did she go? I didn't know. I didn't understand what she was saying. She just said, she's gone, Marty, she's gone. I said, what do you mean she's gone? What happened? And now I'm panicking. and she said she's gone, she's dead.
Everything after that kind of was a blur. Within what felt like 10 minutes, there was probably over 40 people in my house.
And at that moment, I felt like everything slowed down. I remember jumping up out of bed, like just literally covers off and screaming, how, why, where are you? What's going on? And then as I'm asking all these questions, I hear everybody in the house in the background.
My parents, my brothers and sisters, everybody. And they wouldn't let us in anymore. I remember my oldest daughter coming home and wanting to see her sister, and the police wouldn't let her. And the last time I got to see my daughter was when they took her out in a body bag.
I'm calling my brother to let him know where we're at, and he rushes over. But as everything's going on, it just feels like slow motion, like no one's moving fast enough. And even if we would have moved faster, I mean, it wouldn't have brought her back, but it just felt like nothing was being done, or that there should have been something to be done. And I remember my other niece, Marissa, running in and trying to run upstairs, and the cops are pulling her back, and all she's saying is, I want to see my sister, I want to see my sister. And they're not letting us up there, they're not telling us anything. And people are just arriving, and our family's just getting there to be there for us. And to stand around and not be able to do nothing, to see the beginning of my sister's life's change. You're just numb. I call my pastors because just the day before, we were all at church and I was getting baptized. And Destinee was in the front row making fun of me because I used to have spiky hair. And when they dunked me and I came back up, my hair was still standing up, didn't move it an inch. And she thought it was funny. And I'm trying to not laugh because I'm up front and everyone's watching me. And Destinee's cracking up, and big, beautiful smile. And so our whole family was there in church. Everyone went out to eat for my baptism, but they went out to eat without me because I had to go teach a dance class. And then they spent the rest of the day together. Our family was together for the whole day. I mean, for me to be there to see Destinee in church, there was this calmness at the same time, as much as I wanted to cry and be mad and scream like everybody else. I mean, I just got baptized understanding that God has a reason for everything. And that our days are numbered, that only He knows when it's our time to go. And though that is so hard to understand on some days, I have to give it to God. I have to give my problems to Him because to carry it doesn't help me any. It seems like we've been there for hours waiting for the cops to do whatever it is that they're doing, and the coroner's van showed up and they take the stretcher inside, and all you hear is screams and yells and crying and just this room full of pain and disbelief. And so they ask everyone to get out of the house to push out so they can do their work. And it was almost like a movie where, again, I said the time just seems like it's slow, like it's just dragging on. And as they get ready to pull the stretcher out with Destinee in a body bag, the wind starts to blow, and the trees and the leaves are just moving, and it starts raining, it starts sprinkling. And as it starts picking up more and rain, and our tears are falling, you don't even know what's your tears, what's rain. And they put her in the van, they open up the doors, and it's something that I'll never forget. And you're still hearing people cry. And nobody knew what we were in store for. Nobody knew where this would take us. And they close the door and they drive away, and I felt like that was the end of my day for me. That's all I could think, and that's where I just felt like I black out. I don't remember the rest of the day.
Destinee passed away May 17th, 2010. She took her life because of some complications in her epilepsy medication. This is what left Liza and other family members devastated.
So for me, for a long time, I was very angry, very ashamed, and it was very hard because people would ask me, how did she die? And I was always worried that people were going to judge me and blame me for what happened to her. And there were times where I didn't want to tell people how she died. Like, I would tell them that she died from complications of epilepsy, because I felt that if I told them what really happened, it was going to be my fault.
After the funeral, again, I mean, the whole family was just lost. Our lives just changed, and I used to teach dance, on the side here and there, and I just felt, what can I do?
So for a long time, I'd say the first year, I never really told anyone. Like, her friends would try to send me messages, and I would tell them that it was just the epilepsy meds. That's what it was. And in reality, it was. But at the same time, the real reality was that it was suicide, and it was impacting our community. The same year that she died, 2 other kids in the area died of families that we knew.
When we first started, it seemed just to be about helping kids off the street and giving them something to do, about dance and letting her memory live on. I didn't know that it's going to take me to where I am now. When I first started Simply Destinee, we started with 6 kids at Pizza Hut with one little meeting talking about, let's start this dance program. And they were all like, yeah, let's do it. We can do this. And from there, we started having meetings and practices and different things that to get ourselves involved in the community. It was a way for me to do something that I love to do, and at the same time, keep the memory of my niece alive.
So when I first started coming into Simply Destinee, I had like anger. Like I resented seeing kids happy. I didn't want to participate in life. I didn't want to be happy. I didn't want to move forward with life. I honestly felt like I was dead. I was just going through the motions. But after walking in one day and seeing that little girl there crying and saying that nobody would miss her, to me it was like a slap in the face, because I miss my daughter every day, and there's not a day that goes by that she's not thought of. So when Marty first asked the first year, I told him no. I didn't want him to use Destinee's name. I felt judged. I felt like people were just gonna blame me for everything, and I didn't know how to handle that guilt. And then eventually he just kept asking and asking, and he would invite me into the studio all the time, and I'd walk in and I'd see these kids and laughing and dancing and having a great time, and it was hard. Like, it was hard because I missed her, and I know that had she been alive, she would have loved to have been there. Like, she would have done it all. Like, she just had no fear. So then he kept asking and asking, and then eventually I was like, okay, fine, you can use her name, but I still want no part of it. And as time grew on and I started seeing the kids and getting to know the kids and hearing the stories behind why they were there, it made me realize, like, kids needed this. They needed a place that they could feel like a second home and that they could feel safe. And most of all, just enjoy life, even if it's just for that time that they're there. Like for me, that's what I started to realize that this place truly was for them.
Just because you have faith doesn't mean you're not going to have bad days, or doesn't mean that you're not in for some kind of struggle. I think having faith for me is knowing, and especially that day that I got baptized, was realizing that even when I fall, even at my worst days when I feel alone, that I have, you know, for me, God by my side. That I'm not falling, that someone's catching me. And I realized that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to try and help as many kids as I possibly could. And a lot of times people tell me, Marty, you can't save everybody. I said, I'm not gonna try to save everybody. I said, but I will try to save everybody that comes through those doors. So starting off, you know, I wanted a building to start it, and we got into a building and thought we could take it on. And like I said, again, it was just the 6 kids. And, but the rent became to be too much. The space that we had, as nice as it was just, we couldn't afford it. And I had already started with kids that I felt I wanted to be a part of their lives. Leaving them or letting them down was no longer an option. And so we found a place that we felt would be our next home. And it was located in downtown Aurora. But I couldn't afford a home and the studio at the same time. So we made a decision, me and my husband, to give up our home and sell the things that we had, our personal items, our furniture, our home, our car, and other things. And we put that money into the studio. The studio had a broom closet, and that's where we lived for a year. We put our bed and our couches is what we had left. Had a little hot plate, a little refrigerator, a bucket for the toilet, and we bird bath in the hallway bathroom, you know, from the studio at night when nobody was there. The heat wasn't working. We'd have to put 3 heaters in the bathroom just so that way we could stay warm for a 10-minute bucket shower. But it works, you know. And every day these kids knew where they can come. We didn't tell anybody. Some of the kids found out. We didn't want anyone feeling sorry for us. It wasn't their struggle. Some of these kids that were coming in after the original 6 were really dealing with problems, and we didn't want to put any more on their plate. But it was funny because as some of the kids found out, they thought it was like the coolest thing for us to live in this little broom closet, and you know, we had cable, so they'd come sit on the couches and watch TV, or if there was no school because there was a snow day, they'd come with extra blankets and we'd sit on the floor with our broken TV, and we'd make spaghetti or tostadas, or we'd order pizza. But it was home, and 3 o'clock would come or 4 o'clock would come when it's time to go home, and they still didn't want to go home. And some were just getting there, like, oh, you guys are here, I didn't know, why didn't someone tell me earlier? And even though it wasn't your traditional home or what you think a home was, it was a place that they felt welcome and could just be themselves, or at least that's how I saw it. We had a little dog, so everyone had a pet, and you know, we started off with Beats, and he's spoiled now, and he's getting into his years and age, and still likes to be cuddled and burped and everything else like the kids would do to him. But it was home. It was home for me. It was home for the kids. It was a place just to get away from daily struggles, and even myself. Even though as bad as it may sound to say I lived in a closet and used the bucket for the washroom, it never really seemed that bad going through it.
After the funeral, the family was still hurting. Just because the funeral is over does not mean that those feelings go away. Those suffering still need to find a reason to fight.
My name is Bernardo Bito Montanez. I'm 15 years old. I've been dancing with Simply Destinee for 6 years now, and Destinee was my sister. I remember when we were younger and it'd always be Christmas time, and we'd always go outside and we'd build a snowman, but we'd build it out of like the weirdest things, like milk carton caps and, you know, leaves and sticks and her snapback hats and all this like crazy stuff, and we'd always make this like G'd out snowman, and it was pretty cool, and that was probably one of my favorite things I remember about her, because I didn't get to spend a lot of holidays with her, being that she passed when I was only 7. But for the ones that we did, it was pretty memorable.
He gets to deal with the hard side too, because he gets to see me when I break down. He's there. He's the one that's had to move every time I couldn't hold a job. He's the one that has been my motivation to keep going in the mornings. And there are days where he feels like I'm here more than I'm at home. But at the end of the day, he gets it. He knows that I feel like I'm missing out still, because I'll never get to see my daughter grow up. But he has overcome so much, because I look at him and he still laughs and he still jokes and he still dances and he still enjoys life as much as he's seen on the other side of what suicide brings. So I feel like, yeah, we're close, but sometimes I feel like we could be closer.
My relationship with my mom is pretty chill. I feel like after my sister died, we became a little bit more close because of the fact that like we didn't have anybody else but each other. You know what I'm saying? And Simply Destinee really brought us closer together, because it was like I was very like hidden, like my character. And I feel like Simply Destinee brought that out, and she was able to see that, and it just made us closer and gave us a tighter bond.
Who was Marty to turn to? His significant other, Jose. Through it all, Jose was the one to stay by his side.
When Destinee passed, everybody had somebody. My sister had her significant other, my brother had his, my mom, and my dad had theirs. And as I was trying to get everything done for the funeral and preparation, at the end of the night, I was alone by myself. And it hurt, and I prayed to God, and I said, God, please give me somebody who loves me. Please send me somebody who cares about me and how I'm doing at the end of the day. And I didn't realize at that moment that it was Jose, the only person that was really calling to check up on me on how we were doing. So it was probably about July that he thought, the long distance wasn't working out, and I didn't want to lose him. And after losing Destinee, I really figured life is too short. At her age, her life was done, so I'm not promised tomorrow. Nobody's promised tomorrow. So I asked Jose to move in with me. For my birthday in August, he decided to say yes, that he would move in with me. And he calls me up and he says, yes, I'm gonna move in with you, come pick me up. It wasn't for about another 2 years, maybe 3, before Jose decided to tell his parents that we were together. He never gave up on me. He never called me crazy. He'd never not believed in the work that I was doing. Sometimes he thought that I was overworking myself and was concerned for my health and things, and it was everything that I asked for. I asked God for someone to take care of me, for someone to look out for me. And if he felt that anybody was trying to hurt me or, emotionally, physically, whatever, Jose was there to stand up for me. And sometimes that meant even standing up to me to tell me what I needed to hear. So struggles, I don't know. People, my sister told me I was crazy. She's like, look at where you're living. One day she came in and she's like, what are you doing? You got plastic up so stuff doesn't fall off the ceiling. You got a little hot plate and this bucket, and what are you doing? She at that time still wasn't helping all the way in Simply Destinee yet. And I said, do you see those kids out there? This is what I'm doing. I can't stop. And it wasn't hard, I guess, to make a decision. I mean, when I got out of high school, I always thought, in college, I thought, one day if I really want to, I'll have a dance studio. One day if I really want to. And the reality was I really wanted to, I just was scared to fail. I had nobody there in my corner to really push me, to tell me I could do it. And now that I had Jose tell me I could do it, or that he was gonna help me out, and he'd stay the long nights with me and the kids and stuff, and at the same time, it helped him because he was always kind of socially awkward too. But and he's still working on it. You know, he loves his originals and the ones, and it takes a while for him to warm up to you. But when he does, you know, he's all hugs and kisses, and you know, he's a big bear. But I'm glad that he never made anything that we did seem like a struggle. He never made it seem like he was giving up something. I think he was very grateful for everything and to be a part of it. And we're very blessed now. You know, but the good thing is that, you know, God will only put you where He needs you to be. Simply Destinee going forward, like I said, it's already brought me further than I thought we'd go. Being a part of Simply Destinee, doing all the parades, all the festivals, getting phone calls from schools that want us to come in. I mean, to some extent, it was my dream, but at the same time when I started, that's what it was just a dream. So to see it come into reality, to see us inside the schools, to see us do festivals, to see us, to see the kids dance at Bulls games. You know, we did a soccer game one time that we danced at. I mean, it's just amazing, you know, and the little things. We did the 4th of July, downtown Aurora, the kids get to get on stage and everything, and the fact that now that when we walk into schools and we have these little kids and like, oh, Simply Destinee, and you know, or you know, they see the teenagers and they're like, teenagers, which I don't know who gets excited for teenagers, but you know, they scream it. And you know, at the end of every session, we end with our hands in the middle, and you know, we say simply what, simply who, Simply Destinee. And to hear them yell, you know, it is with such excitement and fun. It's really good. But we don't want it to stop there. And you know, dance isn't for everybody. You know, I started with dance because it's something I knew how to do. It's something that you know, our memories also with my mom teaching me how to dance as a little kid. And you know, so as far as training, I was self-taught. But now we're able to bring in different choreographers, different people, because you know, we're able to find funding and different grants to help out. But now, like I said, we want to start with the art program and yoga, meditation, teaching kids how to cope with these things, you know, because that's the thing, is that when we're in school or in anything in work, all we focus on is the task at hand and the tests that are going to come up and the quizzes, and they're just worried about test grades, and you know, you get an A or a B and that means you're smart or you're not smart. And as far as dancing, I'm not looking for the best dancers. I'm looking for some energetic dancers, yes. I want them to find a talent within themselves that they never even knew they had. I want them to know that there's something inside of them that they can share with this world. We do this one dance called Limbo, and it's a dance we started from the beginning, and we still do it, and kids get excited. And now to share it with the elementary schools, you know, when we have events, we tell them you're welcome to join in. And so now we have all these extra kids coming in and joining in. So now what do? You know, now we have an extra 800 kids that I had no idea we were going to be able to be a part of their lives. And so that's where, you know, we're trying to find more things to do, trying to find resources and places to take them, taking them to colleges to look out things for dance, you know, but anything expressive. You know, their emotions matter just as much as grades. Their emotions matter just as much as anything. And to be in the schools is great because some people feel that, you know, suicide is a bad word and no one wants to talk about it. You know, it's so easy and quick for you to give your kid a tablet or a phone and say, here, go sit down, and have no idea what they're looking at or what they're listening to or who their influences are. But then you say, hey, I want to give a class on suicide awareness and anti-bullying and how to save a life. Oh, now someone's got a problem. My kids can't hear that. But they can watch so many different things or bad things on TV, or, you know, even within their own families sometimes. But we can't tell you how to save a life, how to deal with some emotional problems. I think it's ridiculous. So moving forward, we want to build the child and not the dancer. we start them with dance and that builds some confidence. And if there's something after us, after we deal with what they're struggling with, if they can have the confidence to go out and try dance or basketball or gymnastics or whatever it is that they want to do that they probably would have never had the confidence to do before, that's what we want. I have girls who have gone to gymnastics. I have kids who have started their own dance teams. We have kids who try sports or try cheerleading or POMs or dancing, but they try it not because, one, they have the confidence. Two, now they feel they have some skills under the belt. Am I the best instructor? No. But I will love them and try to teach them as much as I can and believe in them and not give up. And moving forward, that's what we want to move in for the kids. Moving forward, I want some therapists to come in for those who may need it, a social worker, because at the schools, we're seeing that the schools are so overcrowded with kids that they're not always able to see them, and I want them to know that we have someone here. The hours for Simply Destinee are usually after school. Most social workers, psychiatrists, therapists kind of stop at 4 or 5 o'clock and that's it. But what happens when these kids have something they need that they're dealing with and no one's open? Simply Destinee is open. They come here and they get to do different things, different activities, different opportunities that they maybe might not have known of or weren't ever open to. But these are the chances. So what's next for Simply Destinee? I'd like some more studios. I'd like to head out to the city and get something done. We've had people on Facebook that say, hey, you need to come out to California, you need to come out here to do this. Moms or parents who have lost their kids and say, we need a program like yours out here. And I'd love to, but I need to make sure that Simply Destinee here is sustained. I need to make sure that the kids that I have here don't lose me. And if it's not me going somewhere else, I would really love to see the captains that we have in place now going out and traveling and opening up, another place, another chapter of Simply Destinee somewhere else, because I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to save a life. And we need that a lot more everywhere, whether it's for drugs or gangs or suicide. It's still, we're losing too many kids who just want to be a part of something.
Suicide is the second leading cause of death in kids ages 10 to 24. The newest statistic is that we are losing more kids to suicide in middle school than an actual car accident. In the last 2 months here alone, we've had children ages 15 and 11. And the reality is it's hitting home closer and closer every day. It's kind of like what I said in the beginning. When it first started to talk about it, it was hard, not just because I was embarrassed, but more so because of the fact that I didn't want to deal with people's judgments. And that's the biggest reason that a lot of people won't speak up, because they feel that if they do speak up, somebody's going to judge them. That's the stigma that's attached to suicide. But the reality is it's hitting so many homes. I mean, we've done classes where we ask how many people have been touched by mental health issues, depression, or suicide. And it's literally like 3 out of 4. That's how many people are being touched by this epidemic. So for us, it's more about raising the awareness and letting the kids know what needs to be done and what they can do to help their friends in need if that ever becomes an issue.
They refuse to let Destinee's story not be told, but rather share it and try to have an impact on other people's lives that are in need.
My name is Victoria. I am 12 years old. I've been in Simply Destinee for 3 years, and the reason I like Simply Destinee is because it helped me express my feelings in another way, and other than bullying other people. I could just dance my feelings away, and that's why I like Simply Destinee.
Hola, mi nombre es Magdalena Arias. Yo tengo a mi hija aquí. Mi hija es Victoria Arias. Ella está en Simply Destinee por 3 años. Yo soy una mamá activa en el grupo porque yo me encargo de brindarles los snacks a los niños, algo de una botana para comer y algo para tomar, y ayudo a limpiar el estudio, a mantener todo bien. A Victoria le gusta venir aquí, es un tiempo que ella aprovecha para gastar su energía, desestresarse, se mantiene feliz mientras está en el grupo, suelta su estrés y llega relajada a la casa. Le gusta estar mucho en el grupo.
Hi, my name is Jesse. I've been here in Simply Destinee for around 1 year, and I'm 11 years old. And the reason I love Simply Destinee is because it gave me new opportunities. I loved to dance since I was little, and since now I come here, I love it even more. So I get more opportunities, I get to dance, and then I meet new friends.
It gave me new opportunities to meet friends, and it helped me through my bullying that I was going through for 3 years because a lot of people didn't like me.
I like it because I have a free will, I guess. Like, it helps me through what I can't say in person.
The reason I love Simply Destinee, it's gave me new friends, I've learned new things, and I've shown other people what I can do and help others in ways that I didn't know I could help others.
My name is Yolanda. They call me Ali Ramos. Been here about 5 years or so, 5.5 years. I have 2 daughters in the program. One is now 12 and the other one is now 10. They started off, the older one started off kind of nervous, but she started off dancing with the teens as well. So she's been dancing with them since she started. The other one was a little harder to get. I'm the VP of Simply Destinee. I do registration, shirt ordering, any uniforms that need to be ordered. I measure the kids. I try to be friends with the kids to try to get them to open up, because a lot of the kids, when they get here, are nervous.
Everyone says it takes a village to raise a child, and it really has come to be that here. I mean, we have a lot of different people that help out and volunteer their time. You know, one of our moms is now our vice president. We have other moms that are on the board as well. That give their time daily, not just 1 or 2 hours a week. I mean, on a daily basis, whether they're opening or giving snacks or whatever. We have Yolanda, who we call Ali, who's our vice president, who's girls as well. She has 2 daughters that are here, Annalise and Alessandra, who we call Biddy. They're here because they believe in our program. They believe in the help that we do. We have Magdalena, whose daughter's involved in here as well, and does a lot of volunteer work. We have just countless people. My brother is helping out as well now, and he's kind of become our handyman. And the way the community comes in and people just help or spread the word, it's amazing, because now that we talk about suicide, we have different people that will come in and say, oh my God, let me tell you about this person, or I lost this person to suicide, and nobody understands. And at the end of the day, they just want someone to listen to them. Again, we try to be there for them as much as we possibly can, but it's through a community effort. This place would not run without the people in the background. People see my face or my sister's face, and that's just a face. You really have to come in here and see who's doing the work. We're not posting photos and flyers of this person doing that, or the women and men that come in here are not getting trophies and awards, at ceremonies, and that's fine, because we're not doing it for that. The reward is these kids coming in every day, returning. So I'm very thankful to all the help that we have. And unfortunately, it's because we've lost too many children already that people have to realize that this place is needed.
The one thing that I like to say, and this goes for all the kids in general, is it's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to give up. Because if we can save one family from going through what I have gone through for the last 8 years, then everything that we have done here at Simply Destinee has not been in vain, because I can honestly say as a grieving mom that this is so life-changing, and not just for the parents involved, but for the kids, the friends, the cousins. Suicide affects 150 people right around you just with one death. So it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to struggle. We all do, but you have to reach out and you have to speak up, because there are so many people willing to help you save your life.
I've certainly enjoyed getting the chance to know these groups and get a peek at their work from the past few weeks. From the worlds of major league sports to the talents of dedicated child care workers and activity instructors, people have a way of making the things that they care about impact others. All of us here down at Voice Venture hope you enjoyed watching as much as we enjoyed producing. That's all we have for now. Until the next time on Voice Venture.